Welcome back to Breakfast Meeting on NBS TV. My name is Tracy Ikopit and I am your host. Now we're going to get into small claims procedure. Gone are the days of court backlogs. To fix a simple issue, enter small claims procedure to quicken the process and make things easier for individuals. With me today are a couple of special guests who are going to take us through this procedure, what it means, who it targets, and its key features. Please, I would love for you to introduce yourselves to our audience.
Thank you, Tracy, and dear viewers, thank you so much for keeping it NBS TV. My name is Faizo Mulalira, Deputy Registrar at Wakiso High Court.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Mlondo Mastula. I'm an Assistant Registrar in charge of small claims procedure. I sit at the Commercial Division, the High Court.
Okay, amazing. So, Faisal, let's start with you. Maybe you could tell us what exactly the small claims procedure is and when it was established and who exactly it targets.
Okay. The judiciary, in a bid to streamline its services and enforcing a people-centered approach to justice, has come up with a number of innovations. Among the number of innovations that we've come up with is the commercial justice innovation for middle-tier income earners and low-income earners. So in the past, if somebody had their capital locked up in a dispute, they would have to take long to unlock that capital through going through tedious, lengthy, litigious processes. So to curb that and ensure that this low-middle-income trader, this landlord tenant who has failed to pay, who has defaulted on payment, where people have an agreement that does not exceed 10 million shillings, then instead of locking them up in the come today, come tomorrow process, adjournment after adjournment, and also hiring lawyers that would, or legal practitioners or other legal aid service providers that would take longer to process this person's case, the judiciary came up with an innovation called the small claims procedure. In this procedure, we have a standard form where you simply fill and attach proof of existence of a debt. Now, the proof can be either by way of an agreement or a communication exchange trail that is able to track the existence of one of your relationship and the default of that relationship. And we have a kiosk, the small claims kiosk, where you simply access that form, you fill it in, and the court will then summon the other person to come. And once you come, we are able to sit by over a court-annexed resolution to see that you resolve this dispute. And people would then commit to pay back. Take an example of a lady who deals in roadside roasting of cassava or maize. If you take them into a length procedure, their capital is 150,000. But they have this supplier who supplies when it is a season. So if you take them through long procedures, you're likely to drive them out of business. But that one shillings makes a bundle eventually. So we've been able to unlock trillions of money over the past 7 years when we've been implementing this procedure.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Okay. So maybe you could take us through the key features of this small claims procedure.
Thank you so much, Tracy. Small claims, like my colleague has explained, it is unique in nature. As we all know, our court process or procedure is formal. It is adversarial. Okay, it involves things like cross-examination. We follow rules of procedure strictly. But small claims as a procedure is informal. It is inquisitorial. It is the judicial officer interacts with the parties. And it is the judicial officer who keeps asking questions. Okay, you're saying you have brought this one to court, but do you have an agreement? Then the person brings the agreement and then asks the other, and you, is it true that indeed you have this one's money? It is inquisitorial. Unlike the other, which is adversarial. In small claims, we do not involve lawyers. It is the parties themselves who come to court. And it is a procedure where we only allow natural persons. Why? Because many times you find that if you allow companies, the main objective maybe of introducing small claims was kind of answering people's
Justice needs.
needs. People always complain about the complex procedures. People always complain about the cases delaying in courts. And if you involve lawyers many times, cases somehow take long.
Yeah.
So in this procedure, people represent themselves. It has to be a natural person. Companies are not allowed to sue. We know companies. It's an artificial person. You'll find it has lawyers. It has representatives. In small claims, it has to be a natural person, me and you. But in that procedure, a natural person can sue a company. Yes, a natural person can sue a company. So somehow we do not allow money lenders. We want people with debts but without interest.
Okay.
Straightforward cases.
Yes.
I lent you money, your child was going to school and maybe somehow you have failed to pay. No interest attached. Small claims, we have seen that many times cases delay in our courts. Because when you lose at in the lower courts, you go to the high court. In small claims, no. A party can only go to the high court if maybe there was an error in the procedure. That is by revision. Unlike in this other normal procedure where we look at appeals, appeal comes from lower court, high court, court of appeal, Supreme Court. Like people take long to get justice, but in small claims, no. It is about revision, but only where there's a mistake in the procedure. We shall also look at, in small claims, one of the things that is unique, I talked about the lawyers. The cases have to take 30 days. 30 days. Like you file, then you take out a demand notice. After 14 days, if the other party, the defendant, has not complied with the demand notice, because the demand notice only says, so and so has come to court, has said this, he is demanding from you this much money. If you do not pay within 14 days, a claim is going to be opened against you. Many times people pay at that stage, the 14 days, because they fear courts. You know how people fear courts?
Yes.
Because that document carries the seal of court, but it is the claimant who signs, the person who has come to court. If by any case this person does not pay, then we go to the small claim level, where the person will come back to court, tell us that he did not comply, and then he will take out a summon where the other party will be required to come and appear before the judicial officer. When that person appears, we use forms. This one has filled the claim form. Also, the other one will come and fill the defense form in case he has a defense. Let me say, he's claiming 2 million, but on such and such a date, I paid him at least 700,000. Why is he now claiming 2 million? He'll fill in the defense form, countering. So then a date will be fixed. They come before the judicial officer. 30 days, we expect the claim to be completed, judgment to be entered. If by any chance maybe these people have many witnesses, it can take on up to, but not more than 30 days. That is the timelines for small claims. Yes, those are some of the unique features. It becomes a backlog when it is just 90 days. Unlike in this other normal procedure, our normal civil, a case becomes backlog at when it's 2 years. Here it is just 90 days. So those are some of the unique features of small claims, and because of the uniqueness, people have embraced it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So I have a couple follow-up questions there. So firstly, why don't you use lawyers? Secondly, if it's not a lawyer who is arguing on the side of like the claimant or the defendant, and also who passes this judgment? Is there a judge? How does that work?
Thank you so much, Tracy. We do not involve lawyers in this process, and the background to this is that, like I said, public outcry. Courts being litigation being so expensive. Complex procedures. I don't know whether they've heard people saying the poor do not win cases in court.
Okay.
So to remove that perception, we allow people with these small cases to come in person. You just come, explain to the judicial officer. The judicial officer remains a judge still, okay? So they come, informally explain their cases, and then the judicial officer will enter judgment.
Okay.
The judgment will be entered, and upon entering the judgment, the judicial officer will assess the expenses this person has spent in pursuing this matter, how much, maybe the transport, because we only refund expenses. For us, we don't deal with costs. There's no taxation of bills of costs, no. We look at how much you have spent, and we look at the public rate. If you have been using a border from Kamwocha to come to Uganda Road, we look at how much is the border from Kamwocha. If you have come 3 times, then we do 5,000 times 5. That is the money we refund. Why? We want to make it friendly. Okay, actually it's called the People's Court. We don't want people to leave our courts feeling that burden. You know, the case is over. People don't want even to look at each other because now court has said you have to compensate the other one 200 million. No. What you have put, you have paid is what is. That is why we don't even look at the interest.
Okay.
So such small cases, trust me, would not need a lawyer.
Yeah.
Because the lawyers also have their own rules. The moment you engage a lawyer, let me say it is a case of 500,000, they have their rules. Okay? Taxation. Of course, they have to get their money paid, their costs for defending you. So judiciary felt it best that no, with these small cases, let people appear without lawyers. But again, the procedure is optional. Okay? It's not mandatory. If someone feels more comfortable coming to our courts with a lawyer, we refer you to the normal civil procedure.
Okay.
But those who feel, I do not have money to engage a lawyer, there is this option of small claims procedure.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Faisal, I want to come back to you. Perhaps you could take us through, I think she's touched on them a little bit, but you could dive into it a little bit more, the types of cases that you take on in small claims procedure.
Basically, the small claims procedure handles straightforward commercial disputes. And these would include debts and unpaid dues, supply of goods and services disputes. You remember the supply chain management for the middle or low income earner who is trying to make or to fend for their families and their well-being through having something commercially, a commercial venture they engage in. Then we handle landlord, tenant areas, but not destruction of rented premises disputes. So you're supposed to pay for your stall, you've not yet been able to pay for it, then we can handle that. We also handle contracts for enforcement of small commercial transactions that do not involve interests. You took out somebody's money, you said you're going to open a garden, you've not been able to plant, the season is off. Small commercial transactions that do not involve interests. The cases we do not handle are issues like land ownership. We don't handle land ownership. We don't handle family disputes involving custody of children and maintenance. We do not handle defamation or libel or slander of whichever character. We do not handle criminal cases under small claims procedure or compensations where people negotiate bordering on a waiver of enforcement of a criminal claim. We do not handle that. We also don't handle divorce and maintenance. So we are handling, it's largely a commercial innovation for the middle and low income earners, such that we do not, to unlock their money at the earliest and at the earnest, and it is restorative in a way. That's why we're saying we are not allowing so much litigation. It's like a restorative reconciliatory procedure that enables these warring parties to rebuild their relations, but with a view of recovery of the monies that are due and that are interest-free.
Yeah.
What this translates into is that justice becomes more affordable, affordability, because you do away with a lot of paperwork, you do away with lawyers, you do away with a lot of technicalities and procedures. It becomes accessible because accessibility here, we have focal persons at courts operating small claims procedure who churn out these demand notices, who provide these forms, and at a cost-free. They are photocopied and filled in with a pen. And where somebody is unable to read and write, there is a person who is able to assist them. The evidence we are attaching is not the forensic evidence, too much complicated evidence, existence of a communication or relationship that borders the existence of a commercial transaction. A WhatsApp screenshot can suffice, a small scribbled agreement can suffice, and then the efficiency, reduction in case backlog, and ability that the people control the process from the 14 days of the demand notice and eventually to sitting down, because the case must be determined and disposed of within 30 days. Transparency here, because the people are now brought on a round table, they come to speak out with ease, and they are able to tell their story with comfort and ease, as opposed to when they have to tell it through somebody who would also maybe bring at the forefront their own stake vis-a-vis the stake of the of the parties. But also now that the judicial officer is involved with the parties, there is some kind of public trust that is built, that the judiciary is not only focused, or the legal system is not only favoring the well-to-do, but this is now the people's court, and their voices now they become part and parcel of the solution they are looking for.
Absolutely.
And restore the business relations. Somebody can default on paying, maybe they took out animal feeds, but they have a farm. The hens have transited from chicks, and they are about to lay eggs. So that is the kind of person. So say, don't cut off the supply, but let's make a workout that when they start picking the eggs, then they're able to pay on the arrears and also pay on the new supply. So it is a people-centered approach for claims of not more than 10 million.
Yeah, absolutely. So perhaps you could give us a little rundown of the process. What does it look like from start to finish, just briefly?
For one to open up a small claim, you come to court. Like His Worship mentioned, we have a table, kind of a kiosk, special for small claims. And the first document you take out, you'll find someone to attend to you, and you explain. They put down whatever your grievance is, and then there's a form they give you. It's called a demand notice. That demand notice basically talks about you so and so. This one has brought you to court saying he's demanding this much money from you, and if you don't pay within 14 days, this will happen. So we give it to the claimant, takes it. We normally, in small claims, we advise the litigants to serve the documents, to serve them. Why? To feel more involved in the process. But if it's not possible, because sometimes you find that the relationship is really bad, that cannot go to the home of the defendant, that is, we advise that maybe they go through the LC. The LC escorts this person, takes the document, the demand notice there. And if the defendant does not pay within 14 days, like I earlier explained, then the claimant comes back to court. Actually, with small claims, we are so informal that even when the claimant takes long to come back, we call. We call to find out, have you been paid? What happened when you took the demand notice? And then if this person has not been paid, comes back to court, we open up what we call now a small claim, where some small money, a fee, is paid to the bank, URA. Yes. Then a file is put before the judicial officer, someone is sent out to the defendant. And the defendant is expected, in that summon, there is a date when you're supposed to appear before the judicial officer. Both parties now appear before the judicial officer, and at that stage, they come with their witnesses. Usually with small claims, once they appear, the judicial officer will entertain them, listen to their witnesses, and many times the judgment is given there and then. After judgment, expenses are going to be assessed. And after assessing the expenses, because we really want it to be minimal, not to exaggerate it. And after the assessment, then we also look at the financial capacity of the other party. Because maybe you're demanding 9 million from this person, but what does he do for a living? Where is he going to get this money? So we also hear from that person how he's going to pay. So if he says, let me say I'm a border rider and maybe every month I'll be able to raise 200,000, then court will also hear from the claimant, the owner of the money. Are you agreeable to that position? If he doesn't, then court takes a position that maybe you're given this much time to pay the date. Then, after the schedules have been made, in case this person does not pay the money as agreed in court, then we go to the last stage of execution. Court forces this person to pay. And when we get to that stage, we go back to the normal civil procedure rules. Because execution has many modes. Sometimes it's arrest and detention. We send you to prison for 6 months and you serve as a civil debtor. We can attach whatever properties you have as long as the property is in your name. We can attach your bank account if there is money. Generally, that is the process.
Okay, interesting. So, Faisal, what's the impact been like so far of the small claims procedure up?
Yes, since the rolling out of this small claims procedure, we've registered significant impact in terms of utilization. As you are aware, the courts are spread all over to ease access to justice and bring the courts closer to the people. So we are running it in almost all the courts in the country, even in the countryside. And because of the ongoing spatial growth and the commercialization that is happening both in the countryside, these people that are entering the business realm find this as a restorative way of easing their dispute resolution, but also continuity.
Yeah.
It drives business continuity.
Right.
Then there's been improved trust in the judiciary. We've dispelled the nomenclature that justice is for the rich, for the wealthy. Now the People's Court is serving that category of persons. Then we have also been able to unlock billions of money, as I earlier said. You know, you've been looking at the fine tax. Have you looked at the fine tax and this little money that keeps being chopped, how it eventually grows? So this money, somebody is demanding 20,000, 2 million, 1 million. You can look at it as if you have some means as not money, but it is a livelihood. It is a source of somebody's next morning, next future, and the dream from where they are, the level where they are to the next level, is tagged on turning around that money. So we've been able to build that public trust, to recover that money. Then we've also been able to unlock this money by taking them away from the mainstream litigious and highly adversarial systems under the mainstream civil procedure. And here we are trying to unlock and ease the court processes to these people who are themselves moving the court through their individual claims and people-centeredness.
Yes.
That is not to say that we've not come without, it has not come without challenge. We have come up, we've been confronted with a few challenges, but we are trying to mitigate them. These would include limited public awareness, and a platform like this one, for which we're incredibly grateful to NBS, gives us an opportunity to unpack this process to our viewers, who will also in turn be disciples to unpack it to their other friends and families.
Right.
Then space and staffing gap, but these are being addressed. Sometimes we are trying to improvise by installing kiosks on the sideline of the court, or designating a particular office that is used to this. Then some litigants fear self-representation. So to dispel this, we are coming up with court open days in the countryside, and on the 15th of December, we shall be having the National Court Open Day, and we shall be having a stall for small claims procedure, where we shall be disseminating a lot of this data that helps to dispel these claims. But this judicial power we are interested with is derived from the people. So you, the people, we are your servants. Don't feel threatened to go to court. Then we have where there has been limited enforceability, where after even a small claim judgment has been entered, the person still comes off as a person without means. So then the whole process seems to be in futility. But you're safer to have this judgment or this ruling, but also allowing people to renegotiate the terms. For example, if somebody was feeling hardened up to pay 200,000 a month, if you slow down and you accepted 50,000, then you're able to see that this can come through. The future is that we are interested in growing this procedure. We hope that with a spatial growth, maybe one time we will consider increasing it to 20 million as the jurisdiction of the magistrates increases. But for now, it is locked at 10 million, and it is helping to turn around the small SMEs, the first-time entrants into the business realm. It is one of their procedures that helps them to see how things feature, how disputes emanate in the supply chain management ecosystem, and how to mitigate risk. And where you're mitigating risks, even when you've fallen short of your expectation, you can still look at your dispute from yet another angle and clothe yourself with the ability to progress in your business.
Absolutely, absolutely. So perhaps you could maybe give us your conclusion for the day. What is your final message about small claims court?
Thank you so much, Tracy. To the viewers, our beautiful viewers, like we have explained, this initiative was introduced for you, the wananchi, small and medium businesses. Please don't fear our courts. One thing I didn't mention, with small claims, people use the language they understand, okay, their mother tongue. It's not English, because in this other formal procedure, it is English. But with small claims, you can come. It's a friendly court. It is cost-effective. It is simple and quick. It is the only way you can get justice in a day, unlike in this other normal procedure. So I call upon people who have small debts, people who have these friendly loans, rent areas, someone you supplied goods, the person has refused to pay, please come to small claims. These courts are everywhere in the lower courts, chief magistrate courts and magistrate courts. You just go there, talk to the staff at the registry, and they will explain everything to you. Please, I encourage you to use small claims procedure. Thank you so much, NBS, for hosting us this morning.
Thank you so much to you both. You've given us, you shed so much light on the small claims procedure and how it can really benefit the SMEs and lower income individuals. It's been absolutely amazing to learn about this process that is going to reduce the court backlogs, but also fight for the justice of the regular Ugandan. We love to see it. Thank you so much for tuning in to NBS Breakfast Meeting. My name is Tracy Ikopit. Until next time, be well.